Hello, my name is Lino Tadros, and in this video I would really like to show you how to install Experience by Kentico as a sample site to experiment with and learn the ins and outs of this great digital experience platform. And don't worry, in the following video I will do it again with a completely empty site so that we can start our development journey with Experience for Kentico. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I would love for you to do is to open up your browser, whichever browser you have, and I would like you to head over to client.Kentico.com. In this website, in this portal, you'll be able to log in, and if you don't have a login, if this is your first time, go at the bottom in here and sign up now. It will take you a minute to create a login. And this is where we will be able to create a 30-day trial so you can get a license to start installing and playing around with Experience by Kentico on your own machine. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I'll be right back in a second. All right, now I'm logged in. You will notice on the left side we have 5 different items in the portal. These are all your licenses that you have paid for or your company have paid for that you have access to. Maybe you received an email after you bought a license. This is where you're going to be going ahead and managing your license. And if you're just evaluating for right now, click on evaluation key, click on the new evaluation key, and it will create a 30-day evaluation for you. I've created one already. I can click on the I in here for information, and this is my license key. I can copy to the clipboard, and I can put it in any file somewhere on my hard drive. I can call it foo.txt or whatever you want. I called mine Kentico license.txt so I can remember where it is. But at this point, once you copy and paste everything in the license key and put it in a text file, you will be ready for the next step. All right, the next step, open up a command line or a PowerShell. I'm here on Windows, but you can do that also on Mac if you would like. And I'm on my D drive. It doesn't matter where you are, but I just need to install the templates from the Experience by Kentico. And the way to do that, the first thing you need to do is to go to the Microsoft website and download the latest .NET Core CLI. Most people already have it because they installed it with one product or the other, but if you have never installed .NET CLI on your machine, you need to install that first. From that point on, I can come in here and say .NET, new, install, Kentico.Xperience.Template. And that's because this machine here have never seen anything regarding Kentico before. So I have to install the templates first, and I'm going to push enter. We wait a few seconds, and it will tell you about all the templates that have been installed and what version number. As of the recording of this video, our version number is 30.6.3. It could be different for you, but that's okay. It's in a continuous development, of course, by the Kentico team. You will notice here at the bottom there are 3 different templates that have been installed on my machine. The first one is a complete boilerplate, completely empty, no pages, no data, no content, nothing. This is if you want to start completely from scratch, which will be something very important, and we will do that in the next video to show you how to create one of those that have absolutely nothing in it. The third one is the one we're going to do for this video, is to create a template based on this short name called Kentico.Xperience Sample MVC. It actually installed a very nice website called the Dancing Goat, and the Dancing Goat is all about drinking coffee and definitely buying coffee and the history behind coffee and all of that wonderful stuff. But the good thing, of course, it doesn't only install the application, it also creates pages and content, so you can actually hit the ground running and starting experimenting with the whole thing. The one in the middle is about mainly for developers to customize the administration UI in the application itself. And we will do that in the future as well in a different video. But for right now, let's do the last one. And this is why I always say, try to have these 3 short names, Kentico.Xperience MVC, the admin sample, the sample MVC. Maybe put them in a notepad or a WordPad or whatever you'd like, because you might need the exact name for the short name when you start creating this website to tell it which template you're coming from. So let's go ahead and do that. So first I'm going to go to my D drive straight at the root, and I'm going to say make dir. I'd like to create a folder. We'll call it, for instance, Kentico sample. There we go. And then we'll cd into it. We'll say Kentico sample. There you go. And then inside of there, I'd like to create another one. Make dir. And we'll say Kentico sample .web. And the reason why I'm doing that is because in the future I'm going to have multiple projects inside of that Kentico sample directory. So I don't want to put everything under the Kentico sample, just the application will go under web, but entities and models and other will be in different projects. So this is the best way to do things. So I'm going to create this and I'm going to CD into it as well. We'll say go to the web. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and clear everything. And what I would like to do now is to run another .NET command. Let me bring it up in here. We'll say .NET new. And this is the template that you want to use. Remember these three templates I told you about? Just copy and paste the one that has the word sample in it, Kentico.Xperience.Temple MVC. And then the -n for the name, I'm going to call it Kentico.Sample.web. Remember, we are in the Kentico.Sample.web folder. And I'm going to be pushing enter in here. And that will take a few seconds, and you will notice it will actually use that template and it will create the Visual Studio project for me. And then it will ask me, would you like me to run the .NET Tool Restore for you? And it's a good idea, because if you say no here, at a later time you'll have to run this command again, the .NET Tool Restore. And that's how you're going to use the dbManager to be able to create the database and everything. So it's a good idea to say yes right here, and we'll say go for it. And now, as you can see, the Kentico.Xperience dbManager, same exact version that we created the application with. So we are in pretty good shape now. Everything is ready to go. The only thing left is, of course, to create the database itself, and that will be the next step. And how do we create that? You go ahead and bring in this. I actually copied this from the documentation directly. You will say .NET, and we will use the new tool that got installed for me, which is the dbManager for the Kentico.Xperience. And then it takes multiple parameters. These are all very, very important. The first one is -s for the SQL server. It could be a SQL Express, it could be a SQL Web, Enterprise, Standard, whatever you would like, as long as you have access to it. In my case in here, I'm going to use SQL Express because it's available on my machine. So I'm going to say // for localhost. And the instance that I have is called SQL 2022. That's the name of my server on my local host. And then the database name, I usually like to use the same name as the instance itself and add DB at the end in case I have so many of them on my machine as well. So I'm going to say Kentico sample, and I'm going to add DB at the end. The next one is very important, and that is the password. Remember, this password is not only going to be for the database, but also as the only administrator currently on the website to be able to log into the back end. So be careful, you need to remember this one, otherwise you will never be able to access the instance itself. So I'm going to call this one admin1234, for instance, okay? And then the next one is about the hash string salt, which I really don't need for right now. I'm going to delete this one. In a future video, we'll show what this is all about. And then I need to point to the license file. You cannot create the database without a valid license file. This is where we copied and pasted the key and we put it in a text file before. On my machine, I put it actually under the downloads folder. So I'm going to say /downloads / I called it Kentico license.txt. I mean, it could be any name that you want with any extensions, as a matter of fact, as long as the key is inside of there in text format. All right, let's go ahead and give it a shot and see if that works. It's going to start creating the database, and notice because I used the sample one, it's going to actually fill it in with a lot of pages and content as well. It's not going to be completely empty like the other template we will use in the next video. But it's installing now the template data, which is a lot of data for a lot of pages and the coffee stuff. So we will wait here a few more seconds and hopefully we'll be done really soon. And it's done. See, it took less than maybe 10 seconds to create the whole thing. The only thing left is for me to build and run this. So I'm going to come in here and say .NET run and push enter. And that will compile and it will show you it's restoring all the NuGet packages from Kentico into my project. And it will take time for the first time, but after that it will be much, much faster once everything is cached in the folders for the objects and the bin and all that. Again, we don't need to get very geeky on this, but hopefully without writing any code, you can see it took a few minutes and we will end up having a beautiful dancing goat website running locally on my machine that I can experiment with. And it's running right now. It's telling you it's running on localhost 35190. I can push the control key on my keyboard and click on that, and that will open it up in here. Let me bring it up to this screen as well so you can see it. And there it is, localhost 35190 running on localhost. And this is the beautiful site for the coffee. I can click around, take a look at the available in Spanish and in English as well, as you can see. Very nice. And if I would like to log in to the back end and start making modification to the site, you can always go to the URL and say /admin right there. And then it will ask you for the username and password. The username that will always start with is administrator. And the password, if you remember, we called it admin1234. That's what we did on the dbManager from the CLI. And I'm going to sign in. And if everything goes well, it looks like we are in pretty good shape. These are the two channels that got created for me, one for the website and one for the email. You can even have a third one for the headless. You can create that yourself, or you can just stick around with the dancing goat pages for the website itself. Notice we have the content hub for the content management. Under configuration, we have the content types. We have the development for the modules, for the logs, for the system, the e-commerce system, the digital marketing, which is extremely powerful in here in Kentico as well, and the content management for the media libraries, the URLs, and the preset templates as well. So at this point, the site is running. I can actually open up, for instance, the content hub, and I would be able to see all my different content available in here. Maybe they're selling t-shirts in the e-commerce system, which languages has been localized to, and so on. So it's really great. And if I go to the channel, one of them for the website itself, you'll notice these are all the pages and all the different pages and subfolders that contains other pages. Like this is my home page. I can click on it. I can see how the home page has been created from all of these different pieces. It just brings them all together. Of course, every single one of those had to be created before in the content hub. And think of a page as bringing all these Lego pieces together. And I can also go to the page builder like we're going to see in the future to be able to visually drag and drop and create the pages visually very, very easily as well. Hopefully this was useful to you to see how to create a sample website in just a few minutes. If you like it, please click on like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in another video. And the next one will be the same thing, but with a complete different boilerplate, empty instance altogether. Thank you and have a wonderful day.